أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب الله العالمين أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. Hello everyone, welcome to the third week of Tadabbur and the Qur'an. Today we are gonna have a short discussion about the difference between Tadabbur and Tafsir, and I know that you have many questions about this, and you are excited to hear about the difference between Tadabbur and Tafsir. After that, we are gonna have chapter 73, Surah Al-Muzammil, and we're gonna have the conclusion part of it. We had the translation and understanding the concepts of verses, the first and second week, and today we're gonna have a conclusion over the whole chapter to understand the whole chapter. So let's start the first part, Tadabbur vs. Tafsir. What is the difference between Tadabbur and Tafsir? Tadabbur, as I explained previous week, is actually a sequential study, sentence by sentence study to gain the overall goal of each chapter. When I say sentence by sentence study, it means that we have to understand the concept of each verse or each sentence by understanding the words on that sentence, and then go through the next sentence and understand the connection between these two verses or these two sentences. By following these verses one by one, we can understand the overall goal of that chapter. And this study is mainly based on Arabic literature and Arabic grammar. We do not use any historical document to understand the story behind that chapter. We do not use any narration, any quotes, none of it. This is not interpretation. This is just a technical study. I like to say technical study because it's only based on literature and grammar. And using literature and grammar, we can understand the definition, the accurate definition of each word, and then understanding that verse or sentence, and then go to the next sentence. Sometimes for a word or for a sentence, there might be different definition from the dictionaries. Mm, we have to choose one or two of them based on the general context of that chapter. Sometimes a word can have three different definitions, and one of them might be not at all related to that chapter. So we choose the other two or only one of them based on that general actually concept and the general theme of that chapter. So, and the other important thing about Tadabbur is this, that this is our duty. I mean, this is our responsibility to do Tadabbur on the Quran. Quran invited us in four verses directly, and Quran told us that you have to do Tadabbur on Quran. And it means that this is our duty. We have to do Tadabbur, and it means we are able to do it. We do not need to have a deep knowledge about Quran. And if we know Arabic literature, Arabic grammar, we can go through it and understand it. If we do not know Arabic literature and Arabic grammar, we can use an accurate translation to find out the definition of those words to do the tadabbur on the Quran. If Quran invited us to do tadabbur, it means we are able to do it. But for example, if I cannot do it based on my own knowledge, based on my understanding of Arabic, it means that I need some help from translation. I need some help from a professor who has enough knowledge of Arabic. That's it. And by Tadabbur, we are just understanding the first layer of each chapter, the surface of it, the appearance of that chapter. This is only understanding the main concept of that chapter. What do I mean by this? You know, Quran has different layer, and it has different deeper layer which include deep knowledge of some laws, of God's laws and stuff like this, we cannot go through that. This is not our duty, and we are not even able to do this. Our duty is just understanding the first layer of each chapter and the appearance of it. And about those deeper layer and about those laws which are hidden in Quran, which are in the deep layer, we should go to the Prophet and Imams, his successors, to understand those deeper layers, because they have the knowledge of understanding those deep layers. We do not have that knowledge. We cannot go through it. Our duty is doing Tadabbur on Quran. Tadabbur is a sequential sentence by sentence study to gain the overall goal of each chapter. Quran is our roadmap, and our duty is just understanding the overall concept. For example, the oneness of God. There is a resurrection day, there is a judgment day for us, there is another life, and God is able to actually manage all of these things on the other life. And these are the general concept that we have to learn from Quran by doing tadabbur on it. The other things which are deeper layer is not our duty, and it's not feasible for us. So how about tafsir? What is tafsir? Tafsir is based on narrations from the Prophet and Imams as his successors. They have that deep knowledge about those deeper layers of Quran. They understand God's law, which are hidden in the deeper layer of Quran. We do not have that knowledge. We cannot understand those deep layers, and that is their job to explain it for us. This is the Prophet and Imam's responsibility to explain those deeper layer for us and lead our society to actually perform everything based on Quran, to have Quran in our society. And that's why we always need a leader among us. They are our leader to do based on Quran, to do based on those hidden layer of Quran. And I want to emphasize on this point that this is not our duty to understand those deep layers. You know, some people are so confident and they believe that they can understand everything about Quran by studying it and going through those narrations, and they believe that they can reach to all of those layers. I want to warn you, this is very dangerous. Please do not do that. We don't have that knowledge. Don't be that confident. There are many narrations which are fake. You know, there are fake narration. We cannot go through those document and historical document and read those narrations and do based on that. This is not our duty. We are not able to do that. We do not have such a knowledge to go through those narrations by ourselves. We have to go to Islamic scholars. This studied Islamic philosophy, fiqh, and many courses in Islamic schools, and they have a really deep and good knowledge of going through those historical document to find out which narration is fake, which narration is correct, how we can trust some of those narrations and stuff like this. For example, even if a narration is correct and you can trust it, it's not fake, then you have to find out in which situation the Prophet or Imam told this quote to someone, told these sentences to someone. That situation, that specific situation is important. For example, if they ask something about pray or fasting or hijab or stuff like this, and Imam or Prophet replied to them, we have to consider that situation. Then we are allowed to use that quote or that narration in our society and in the current situation. So I highly warn you that please do not be that confident to go through those narrations. We do not have that knowledge. If you are an Islamic scholar, if you spent several years in Islamic schools to understand about those historical documents, then it's fine. You can do that. But if we are not Islamic scholar, if we are not that degree in Islamic studies, we are not allowed to do it. They go through those historical documents to find out about narrations and quotes, and then they provide a interpretation or tafsir based on those narrations. So I hope that it's clear enough. Tafsir is not our job. We do not have that knowledge. Those Islamic scholars, after several years study, they can go through historical document to find out the narrations which are correct and trustable. They use those narration to do the interpretation. Interpretation or tafsir is not our job. I interchangeably use tafsir or interpretation because the equivalent word for tafsir is interpretation. Okay, so interpretation is based on narration or quotes. But plus that, there are some tafsir or interpretation published book. You can find them in bookstore. They are not exactly based on narrations. They are very similar to Tadabbur. They are just working on words and sentences, and they are trying to explain them. Sometimes for a verse, there are three, four pages that they are trying to provide a good definition for that word or that sentence. Very similar to what we do in Tadabbur. Just the title is tafsir or interpretation, but technically they are very similar to Tadabbur, and they are only working on words or sentences. They are not working like on the whole chapter, similar to what we do. We start with definition of the word and sentences, then we go through the whole chapter. They do not do this last part. They only focus on words and sentence, and the title of those books are tafsir or interpretation. But they are not truly tafsir. Tafsir means understanding those deep layers of Qur'an